parole. New tonight, the acting corrections commissioner says inmates could soon become eligible with a rollout expected later this year. This as we are learning the cost of a new corrections facility is being scaled back. Plus, a severely decomposed body found near a clinic on Grand Bahama. Investigators now trying to make an ID. And then in our news at 7:30, how to be safe at the beach this summer. We'll give you some safety tips after investigators say a 59-year-old man drowned after a seizure. Our news live at 7 starts right now. Welcome to our news live at 7. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'm Kendino Knowles. The construction of a new corrections facility hitting another stumbling block as government has mandated the Department of Corrections scale down the cost of the project. Berthany McDermott has the latest on the new facility in just a moment, but we are learning from Acting Commissioner of Corrections Don Clare that the rollout of a new parole system for inmates will come later this year. Speaking at the Journey Course training graduation ceremony for maximum security inmates, Clare said the proposed system will be taken up in a town hall meeting this week.
I was advised by the minister once we have finished enlightening the public as to what parole is, what it's about, what it takes to get into parole, and once that is done, the bill will be tabled in Parliament and passed.
Clare explained inmates will not be eligible for parole without conditions and said a parole board will be constituted. Clare explaining the difference between parole and the prerogative of mercy unit.
The prerogative of mercy, they can put you on the scheme, they can give you early release. But again, the conditions is the key. No one will be released from this facility without conditions. You see, so because it is the conditions that will pretty much keep you in line as to your remaining time left on your sentence. For example, if a guy is incarcerated for drugs and the parole board says that you must go to drug counseling for the next 3 years, you have to do it. Because if you miss one session, what happens? You're back in here for 3 years.
All right, and now to the cost of the new corrections facility. As the acting commissioner says, government is asking for a scale back of the project, saying the current price tag is too expensive. Berthany McDermott reports.
The government is looking at ways to cut expenses for the new correctional facility, according to Acting Commissioner of Corrections Don Clare. In early May, National Security Minister Wayne Munroe said the facility will cost $90 million.
The government is of the view that that the current facility, as we speak, it is costly, which amounts to about $93 million. And what they're asking us now is that if we can pretty much not scale down the size, but at least remove some of the things that may not be totally necessary.
The plan is for the new facility to house its own medical facility, psychiatric wing, a solar system, and a reverse osmosis system.
If we want to remove the solar system, that's millions of dollars saved. If we want to remove let's say the reverse osmosis system, that's millions saved. But again, these things are necessary. But so we are now in the process now of trying to tone down some of the costings and do a resubmissions to the government.
The state of the current prison has been the subject of heavy criticism over the years. The 2022 U.S. Human Rights Report on the Bahamas said prison conditions were harsh due to overcrowding, inadequate sanitation, poor nutrition, and inadequate medical care. Clare says the prison averages around 1,300 inmates. Given the revision on tap for the facility, we asked the prison chief when could construction begin.
I want to say construction tomorrow.
But considering what you now have to do, is that possible?
Again, if you come to the symposium on Wednesday, the minister can give you a better idea as to what timeline we're looking at.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
All right, thanks a lot, Berthany. Well, 2 men facing a murder charge after a man was killed during an attempted armed robbery earlier this year. Prosecutors allege Leroy Assimi and Irvin Moxie shot Escanil Dudu on January 25th as they tried to snatch an envelope containing cash. Dudu later died in hospital on March 25th. The men who stood before Acting Chief Magistrate Roberto Reckley were not asked to plead and were denied bail. They are expected to be indicted on October 3rd. And now to Grand Bahama, where investigators are probing the discovery of human remains yesterday. Police telling Our News it was around 10 p.m. when the severely decomposed body of an unknown man was found near a medical clinic on Pioneers Way and Rhodes Lane. There's been no identification on the victim just yet, but ASP Stephen Rolls says the victim was wearing jeans and a long-sleeve shirt. Police appealing to anyone with information to contact Crime Stoppers at 328-TIPS. Well, Prime Minister Philip Davis left for Brussels, Belgium over the weekend to represent the nation at the EU-CELAC summit. Davis will also chair the CARA Forum meeting while there. The Prime Minister's agenda includes crucial discussions about the issues of blacklisting and climate change. Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper will act as Prime Minister until Davis returns next Wednesday. The highly anticipated summit brings together leaders from the European Union community, or the European Union that is, and the community of Latin American and Caribbean states. We've got a whole lot more to get to, but for now, it's time for your first look at temperatures. Meteorologist Greg Thompson, he's in the Weather Center. Greg?
Yeah, thanks, Candino. Happy Monday evening, everybody. Another warm day around the islands. Today, temperatures managed to get up into the 90s once again with the triple-digit indices, so it was very hot out there. 87 degrees outside our studios right now with some passing clouds. It's humid. The winds are out of the east-southeast at 9 miles per hour, and your feels-like temperature factoring the relative humidity. It's a very warm 93 on the outside. Right now, it's 84 degrees in Freeport with some showers in the vicinity. 85 in Marsh Harbor, Abaco. Allenstown, Bimini, and Great Harbor Key, you guys, 85s, with also some showers nearby. 88 in Nicholstown, Andros. Over in Governor's Harbor, we are at 87. 87 in Kemps Bay, Andros. Pick up 86s in Arthurstown, Cat Island, Georgetown, Exuma, and Deadman's Key, Long Island. Copenhagen, San Salvador, you guys are 85 and into the southeast Bahamas. 86s in Duncantown, Ragged Island. Colonel Hill, Cricket Island, Delectable Bay. We pick up 87s, Abrams Bay, Meguana, Matthewtown, Inagua, and our neighbors to the southeast, Turks and Caicos Islands, you are 87 at this hour as well. Radar and satellite composite showing an upper-level disturbance, generating some showers and some clouds across the northwest Bahamas. Some of those showers heavy at times, and the thunderstorms were strong to severe. So we could have seen a couple of strong isolated showers and thunderstorms over that area. This pattern will remain in place as that upper-level disturbance slowly slides out towards the east. High pressure dominates the remainder of the islands with some Saharan dust, and we will continue to see this weather pattern through tonight and into tomorrow. That's your first look at weather. Stick with us so that your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come on Our News, Exuma School District Superintendent on the defense over a video showing a schoolgirl struggling through floodwaters on her way to school. And the State Minister for Social Services says she's on board with a new women's shelter proposed in the new fiscal budget. Plus, work in progress.
March on, Bahamas.
Exuma School District Superintendent Pamela Gorte says a video showing a schoolgirl struggling through floodwaters on her way to school is outdated. Our News received the video in an email saying the Minister of Education opened school in Exuma today, but half of the island is still flooded. Here's Gorte addressing the situation.
We don't know why that person did that, but yes, there was a video of a child with a garbage bag wrapped around their legs or something, trying to get to school, but that was immediately after the flooding last month. That is no longer a situation. Yeah, that video was done immediately after the flooding. Before the Royal Bahamas Defense Force brought in the pumps to clear the roadways, that video was here.
By recent flooding, were actually able to reopen by June 13th.
The Prime Minister came in on Monday. We had Monday off, and Tuesday we were able to open schools for 90 to 95% of the student body. We had already spoken to our stakeholders and let them know if your home is your area studied, do not rush your children out to school. We will make provisions for them to complete the school year as soon as it is safely possible for them to come out to school.
All right, with a rise in domestic violence, State Minister for Social Services and Urban Renewal says she's on board with a new women's shelter that's been allocated in the new fiscal budget.
Of course, I'm excited about the Department of Social Service and Urban Development opening women homes. There's never enough. There's always, we need more. And so I'm happy about what our government is doing in terms of moving forward with that initiative. And so I'm excited. And so we can hear less cries and more help.
And now to work in progress as the Ministry of Works and Utilities continues its road improvement efforts this summer. Jamila Mizik has more in tonight's Work in Progress segment.
Road users can soon breathe a sigh of relief as legacy issues are being addressed. Officials from the Ministry of Works are monitoring roads in New Providence and in the process of increasing pothole patching efforts. Works Minister Alfred Sear says residents will soon see an improvement in safer and drivable roads.
Intersections such as East Street and Cordo Avenue and East Street and Balfour Avenue that have been severely impacted by poor drainage conditions are being scoped for resurfacing, as regular pothole patching repairs are not enough for these areas.
Sear says the ministry is in the process of engaging 10 contractors with expertise in pothole patching to supplement the ministry's road patching unit. As for major road repaving efforts, he says these major arterial roads are in the pipeline.
South Beach Community Roads, Windsor Field portions, Bay Street between East Street and the Old Bridge, the Eastern Road, Winton Highway, Woodlawn Way, East Street from Palm Tree Avenue to Robinson Road, East Street South, Tonic Darling Highway, Joe Farrington Road, Blue Hill Road south of Carmichael Road, Blue Hill Road between Tonic Darling and Robinson Road, Hospital Lane, Zion Boulevard, Kennedy Subdivision.
Reporting for Work in Progress for Our News, I'm Jamila Mizik.
When our news comes back from the break, we turn our spotlight to stories making headlines across the world as global temperatures near record highs. Plus, a new Alzheimer's drug shown to slow disease progression by 60%. And what it's like to know that King Charles knows your name. The story when our news returns.
At Doctors Hospital, our lamp just got brighter. The Loyalty Advantage membership program now has 3 unique plans to choose from. From Lamp Prepaid with free prime care visits and service line discounts, Lamp Insured with copay waivers and 0 upfront collections at the ER and inpatient services, or our new Lamp Access, a free plan that offers 10% off lab, pharmacy, and imaging. Lamp has a plan for everyone. To sign up, visit our website or give us a call. Doctors Hospital, trusted and best care now.
Welcome back to Our News. We turn our attention now to stories making headlines across the world. All right, global temperatures continue soaring to historic highs as the United States and China reignite talks on climate change. This as nearly a quarter of the U.S. population fell under extreme heat advisories, partly due to a heat dome that has settled over western states. Scientists say the target of keeping global warming within 1.5 degrees Celsius of pre-industrial levels is moving beyond reach. Meanwhile, Arizona recorded the 17th consecutive day of temperatures over 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Residents taking to water parks to stay cool, as you can see there. Forecasters predicting today Phoenix will break its record of 18 straight days over 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Set back in June 1974. Eli Lilly's experimental drug, Donemab, slowed the progression of Alzheimer's by 60% for patients in the earliest stages of the brain-wasting disease. That's according to trial data presented at a medical meeting today. The drug slowed cognitive decline by nearly twice the rate Lilly reported in May for the trial's overall treatment group. The full analysis showed results were less robust for older, later-stage patients, as well as those with higher levels of a protein linked to disease progression. And now to the region. This dramatic video captured by a resident on the west coast of Puerto Rico on Sunday, showing an apparent tornado in the town of Aguara. The video, taken from a balcony, shows debris spinning in the air as the swirling funnel could make its way across the coastal town. The National Weather Service said damage from the short-lived tornado would be assessed to determine its classification. And finally, the UN's World Food Program announced a shortage of funds today, saying it won't be able to help 100,000 people in Haiti this month who urgently need assistance. The agency said that the 25% cut comes as a record 4.9 million people in the country of nearly 11 million need help with finding food. Gang violence has worsened the situation, paralyzing the transportation of goods and preventing people from leaving their home. All right, what does it feel like to know that King Charles knows your name? Well, in his Independence Day address, that is, King Charles called a list of Bahamian change makers he's hoping to meet on his next visit. One of them is climate change specialist Marjan Finlayson. Our Marlena Leonard got her reaction.
Climate change specialist and educator Marjan Finlayson got quite the surprise on July 9th when King Charles III mentioned her by name in his official independence address to the nation.
And that is why I hope to be able to celebrate with you as soon as possible and to meet some of the many Bahamians who are already shaping the next 50 years, such as pioneering climate scientists such as Alana Vellacott, Marjan Finlayson, and Charles Hamilton.
But Finlayson wasn't watching the show live, and when a friend reached out to tell her about it, she thought she was joking.
It was so funny. So I was actually in the airport with my cousins and sisters. We were on our way back to Nassau, and my friend Jody Minnis sent me a message and was like, "Hey girl, King Charles knows your name." And I was like, "What are you talking about? I don't know what you mean." So basically, she sent me the link, and she was like, "He said your name." I had to double back and make sure he did say your name. And yeah, I was in shock. My cousins were all hugging me. My sister was like, "This is some great news." I was like, "I don't understand what's happening."
And in a field where it can often feel like you're speaking into a dead microphone, Finlayson tells us the moment was validating.
It was nice to be put on a big stage with the King mentioning the hard work that I do, that Alana does, that Charles Hamilton does. Like it was really validating. It was really great. And I'm happy that I've been able to speak to more people about this work. And for like people who I work with, who I speak to often about trying to keep going, I'm happy that this happened to me so they see like this is something that they can continue doing too, especially in the sustainability field.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Marlena Leonard.
Still to come in Our News, today in history, find out interesting facts about the day that was July 17th. Plus, coming up in Our News at 7:30, Acting Corrections Commissioner says the early release and subsequent deportation of a Jamaican man was a procedural error. And now behind bars, men accused of pretending to be police sent to prison. When Our News returns. Welcome back to Our News. On July 11th, we aired a report with the North Andros Local Government Chief Councillor Donna Mae Pitstock with a wrong image appearing with her voice. That story has since been taken down from our website and social media channels, and we'd like to apologize to her and her family, as well as the woman whose image was wrongly used. It's time now to turn our spotlight on events that shaped the day that was July 17th. Take a look. On this day in Bahamian history, in 1999, the Bahamas Development Bank opened a branch in Marsh Harbor, Abaco. At the time, the bank was expanding its operations, and the Abaco location was the second expansion after the opening of the Freeport branch in 1986. The Abaco branch has since merged with its sister office in Freeport, Grand Bahama, which is now the Northern Bahamas branch. Then in 2014, the minimum wage was increased for public servants. An industrial agreement was signed increasing benefits and promotions of all Bahamas Public Service Union employees. Then in 2019, Eldon Sylvester Sly Roker was killed during a home invasion at his residence in Turks and Caicos Islands. Sly Roker was a popular Bahamian musician who was living in TCI at the time. The 66-year-old was well known for his contribution to Bahamian music, particularly in the 1970s and 1980s, when he performed on the music circuit all through the islands and internationally as well. In 2016, he was honored during the 43rd Independence celebrations for his contribution to Bahamian music. And finally, in 2020, then Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis signed an emergency order to ban American tourists from visiting the Bahamas. Due to the high COVID-19 infection rates in the United States, Dr. Minnis said at the time he believed it was a necessary step to protect the Bahamian people. The ban went into effect on July 22nd, but was reversed 3 days later in favor of a 14-day quarantine standard instead. All right, well, it's summertime, and kids are certainly out of school and home for the summer, but if you're looking for a few tips for healthier snacks to help keep your little ones in shape while they're at home, Talia Hall, she spoke with the health experts to help you out. Take a look.
Today's children are not so active. They're mostly inactive. As a matter of fact, they use the television as their go-to.
Meet health expert and nutritionist Marlene McKinney. She says creating healthy snacks for your kids is not difficult, and you can also get them involved. Well, I got in the kitchen to learn how to make 2 quick and easy healthy snacks. The first, carob treat.
And then carob comes sugar-free, okay? And then we have a peanut butter, and we have our little... Yeah, we have coconut and we have some Rice Krispies. It's almost like a Rice Krispie treat. Like I said, you can use peanut butter, you can use almond butter, you can use whatever butter you have at home, and then you can use chocolate or carob chips.
You then put the mixture in the microwave until the butter melts. Add your carob chips and any other ingredients.
I like things like granola in there because it gives a little crunch, and it takes literally 10 minutes. Once it's on the tray, you put it in the freezer while that's freezing. 10 minutes and you have a snack for the children, and you can leave them in the freezer for them to just go and pop one out.
Here was the finished product. It's good.
It's good.
It's good.
So what does it remind you of? You think?
Reese's Cup. And now to a snack filled with naturally grown fruits. McKinney showed us how to make a quick and easy fruit salad with watermelon, honeydew, and pineapple.
It's naturally sweet, so there's no sugar, right? And, of course, it's like I said, it's going to rehydrate, it's going to give them all the vitamins. And guess what else? It has lots of fiber, so they're not going to eat as much. You know, you can juice the orange.
Nice,
fresh juice. So, no canned juices.
This is how the fruit salad came out. The nutritionist says it's important to teach children how to eat healthy, as the Bahamas is ranked high in the Caribbean for obesity.
It starts there with our babies. If we can get them to enjoy these fresh fruits and vegetables early, then we're creating a healthy palate, one that's going to really desire to have it.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Talia Hall.
Great, thanks a lot, Talia. To watch that story again, for all of today's top stories, visit ournews.bs. It's going to do it for us at News at 7. Natalia Hall is joining us now with the latest headlines. And Natalia, I had a smack just now.
Yeah.
The Reese's peanut butter cup.
Delicious. I did not know you can just make that at home.
I'm there with you though on the Reese's.
Yeah.
I certainly would love to try that one.
Yes, good. Yeah. And it's so good to have you back, of course.
Thank you. It's good to see you.
Yes. Well, the latest from investigators on a man who drowned on Goodman's Bay and 2 men behind bars after pretending to be policemen. Here are your latest headlines.
An unfortunate death, first tonight on Our News Live at 7:30. Investigators releasing more details about the death of an elderly man who was found dead at Goodman's Bay Beach. Plus, local authorities are telling you how to stay safe at the beach this summer. Our Jamila Mizik has the full story. Also, following the early release of a Jamaican national from the Department of Corrections, the prison is tightening up its procedures. And later, an historic building in Grand Bahama now in bad shape. A former resident weighs in on his condition. Our News Live at 7:30 starts in a moment. Welcome to Our News, and thank you for joining us. I'm Talia Hall.
Local authorities stressing the need for beach safety this summer following the death of a man yesterday. With already scorching temperatures expected to continue this summer, Jamila Mizik has some tips to keep you and your family safe in a moment. But now to do details on that drowning on Goodman's Bay Beach yesterday afternoon. Police say the 59-year-old man who was swimming in the area around 3:14 had a seizure, which caused him to experience difficulties breathing. The man was later retrieved from waters, and EMS personnel performed CPR but were unable to revive him. Now investigations are continuing. Acting Commissioner of Corrections Don Clare is chalking up the early release and subsequent deportation of a Jamaican national to procedural error. The man was awaiting trial on a firearm and ammunition case.
That amounted to a procedural error. What actually caused the issue was that the same individual was charged in 2 different courts on the same day. And our records department, was of the view at that time that this person only had 1 charge. So after the court sent back for that person, they realized that, hey, no, it was 2 different charges on the same person. But he was then released to immigration, and immigration deported him.
National Security Minister Wayne Monroe has said the Attorney General's office will decide if they will seek extradition to stand trial in the Bahamas. In the meantime, Clare says the prison has tightened up its procedures. He says it's unlikely something like this will happen again.
We have lots of new procedures that's now put in place. We had 3 different checks now. We now have 5 checks now. And also 2, immigration will now play a part of it in terms that they have their checks in place also. So it most likely wouldn't happen again.
While 2 men accused of pretending to be police officers before robbing a woman of $4,000 are behind bars. Prosecutors allege that Leroy Estimi and Frero Senat were dressed as police officers when they went to Mary Alexandre's home at Dumping Ground Corner on June 20th. The armed men allegedly took an envelope that contained the money while searching her home. Estimi and Senat did not have to enter pleas to charges of housebreaking and armed robbery when they appeared before Acting Chief Magistrate Roberto Rackley. Now they return to court on October 5th. Beach safety, the order of the day following the death of a man yesterday. Tonight, officials are stressing some beach safety tips to help keep you and your family stay safe while enjoying some fun in the sun this summer. Jamila Mizik reports.
It's summertime, and that means more residents will be going to the beach and swimming pools. And while it is important to stay cool, it is even more important to stay safe. Officer in charge of public safety and operational support, ACP Craig Stubbs.
Be more conscious of kids in the water or other adults. We know there's a saying that persons, when they finish consuming large consumption of meals, they go in the water, catch crumbs or that. We ask you to take at least 5-10 minutes out to rest before entering the waters. We ask you to find those areas where we have lifeguards available.
On Sunday, a 59-year-old man drowned on Goodman's Bay after having a seizure and experiencing difficulties breathing. Head Learn to Swim coach at Mako Aquatics Club, Amanda McPhee, shares what to do if there seems to be a medical issue.
I think you have to be very, very careful of how you handle persons because you really don't know exactly what's happening. You don't want to be in a situation where you actually cause more harm than good. So, like I said, you have to really be extremely observant. You look at them, you try to speak to them. Are they conscious? If they are not conscious, are they breathing? If they're not breathing, do they have water? Do they seem to be bringing up any form of fluids? If they are, you would roll them to their side. But like I said, first course of action, call the paramedics, find out if there's a doctor or a nurse, and then
All right, and we apologize for that small technical difficulties, but that was our Jamila Mizik reporting. While muggy conditions outside the Our News studios right now and even hotter conditions are expected as we dive deeper into the summer. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center now with your first look at temperatures. Greg?
Yeah, thanks, Natalia, and welcome everybody for a quick check on conditions outside our studios and around the islands. Right now, it's a warm and muggy 87 degrees on the outside. Winds out of the east-southeast at 9 miles per hour, and your field side temperature is, well, very warm. That's 93 degrees. Satellite and radar composite, there is an upper level disturbance moving across the northwest Bahamas that's generating some showers, some isolated thunderstorms across that area. High pressure dominates the remainder of the islands with some Saharan dust. We will continue to see those showers and thunderstorms tonight through tomorrow as that upper level disturbance slowly slides out towards the east and that high pressure system continues to build across the area. That's a quick check on conditions around the island. Stick with us. A look at the extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come on our news, deteriorating conditions at a historic building in Grand Bahama has one former resident calling it a sad situation. Also, the small home repair program appears to be making progress. This as hundreds of homes have been repaired. And have you taught your little ones what to do in the event of a fire? We'll tell you all about the new police force summer camp that's helping to educate them when our news continues. An historic building in Grand Bahama has fallen into a state of disrepair and is now a major concern for the Grand Bahama Port Authority. Tonight we speak with a former resident of Lakayan Tower South who now lives in the North Tower, and she says it's a sad situation.
It's so unfortunate.
That's Cindy Davis, a former resident of Lakayan Tower South. Davis lived in the complex for 4 years, but now lives in the South Tower. Lakayan Tower South was constructed in Grand Bahama in the 1960s, but after a number of major hurricanes over the years, the building began to deteriorate. Davis reflected on her experience in the building during Hurricane Matthew.
Some of the walls were being bust by the wind, and it went from the floor that I was on, then I think it went to the 8th floor, then to the 6th floor, then to the 7th floor, and I think it stopped on the 3rd floor. The walls were just popping out. They were just popping out from the pressure of the wind.
Now, in a recent statement by the Grand Bahama Port Authority, the Vice President of Building and Development, Akira Bulchcombe, says the GBPA has exhausted every avenue to have the board address the growing number of risks at the complex, like a non-functioning pump, elevator, tank system, and defective exhaust fans on the roof. Davis says she's saddened to see the current state of the building.
That's not a good thing for the residents there, because that has been some of their homes for over 40 plus years. And with that statement out like that, that's like it's a gloom and doom for them, and I don't know if any of them have anywhere to go.
Port officials say final notice has been issued to the board in which they have 30 days to present a tangible plan of action, and if not, their certificate of occupancy will be revoked. While on property today, the Our News team spoke with an official from Lakayan Tower South who says due to a court matter, he cannot say much, but explained that they are unable to move forward with repairs because they aren't collecting maintenance fees. The former resident says she is aware that some have not been paying their maintenance fees.
Everyone can come up with the monies that needed to be repaired, to have the place repaired, or just give up your investments and move on, because if the place is not repairable, then it doesn't make any sense staying in it.
While the Small Home Repairs Accelerated program is still underway as teams are on the ground working, according to State Minister for Social Services and Urban Renewal, Lisa Ramming. Since the relaunch of the project, close to 400 homes have been repaired. Ramming says she's pleased with the progress made thus far with the latest project at Teen Challenge Bahamas.
Just this morning, we were able to visit the Teen Challenge, which of course is an NGO organization with helping men who want to be rehabilitated, those who are somewhat homeless, and it's under the leadership of Dr. Fox. And I'm so grateful that we had the opportunity to repair his roof. It's going on now. I mean, it was in a terrible state. And so the men there are so excited. He has 25 men who are there, and Dr. Fox has been helpful with the Ministry of Social Service and Urban Development.
She says the new system put in place is what's leading to the success of the program.
We have revamped the system in terms of giving the contractors a fixed price as it relates to the housing situation. We're now able to do more and do it swiftly. And I want to thank Kelly's for doing business with us, of course, and we have had no hiccups. Everything has been going smoothly. And even now we're taking our supplies into Andros and into the Berry Islands very soon.
Ever, the Royal Bahamas Police Force Fire Services are training boys and girls about fire prevention. In a 2-week summer camp, kids from as young as 5 years old will be engaged in activities that will inform them about fire awareness, fire safety, its root causes, and what to do in the event of a fire. While Police Constable Shishan Smith got the kids rallied up.
Campers, are you eager to learn how to escape a fire? Yeah. I can't hear you. Yeah. get to learn how to use a fire extinguisher. Yeah! Hose rolling. Yeah! Hose rolling. Yeah! Yes. What about sip and paint? Yeah! Movie day. Yeah! All around fun day. Yeah!
All right, well, on hand to address the new campers was State Minister for Social Services and Urban Renewal, State Minister Lisa Ramming. She says it's important to be trained at such an early age.
Most of your parents don't even know what to do when a fire starts. And so you now are the champions. You are the champions to ensure that there is no fire happening in our communities. I look forward to you helping me, because I didn't do fire training when I was a police officer. I knew nothing about fire training. All I know is when the fire starts, I should break off running. And so, we leave you now to be trained, and after this training, I'm going to be looking for plenty of you.
The 35th annual Jeff Rogers Summer Camp makes its return, and we introduce you to one of college's top volleyball players. Don't go anywhere, our sports is coming right up.
And a global temperature surge this summer means it may only get even hotter. Greg is back in the Weather Center with a look at temperatures for the rest of the week when our news returns.
Today's sports update is sponsored by Michelob Ultra, distributed in the Bahamas by Jimmy's Wines and Spirits.
This is our news. Welcome back. The Jeff Rogers Basketball Summer Camp is back, and get to know one of college volleyball's top players. Here's Tage Adderley with a check on sports. Tage?
Thanks, Italia. The 35th annual Jeff Rogers Basketball Camp began today. Our Joshua Williams was there, and he has this report.
35 years and going strong. The Jeff Rogers Basketball Camp is now underway at the Kendall G. Isaacs Gym. The camp seeks to teach young boys and girls the fundamentals of the game in a safe Christian environment. Camp Director Jeff Rogers.
Your passing drills, your shooting drills, your ball handling drills, how to box out, you know, how to play defense, how to move without the ball, the layups with right hand, left hand. Yes, we teach them all the basic fundamentals of the game itself.
But most importantly, the camp will teach the youngsters life skills.
We try to remind our young people about discipline, how to respect each other, some of the basic rules which you would learn home in the house. We just make sure, tell them, hey, that's what this whole life is about. You got to have a good attitude. You got to be honest and stay away from drugs and things that is harmful to you.
We spoke with campers about what they're looking forward to this year.
Just enhancing my skills, because that's what Jeff Rogers Camp always does. Just the people here, and also the teachers, the friends that I meet, and also just being able to play basketball.
To learn the basics of basketball and to make more friends. I'm trying to put a word out to the girls that you should be able to play whatever you want.
Rogers has hosted the camp for over 3 decades now. He says it's his faith that keeps him going.
We all have different calling in life to give something back. Me growing up in the Seventh-day Adventist Church, you know, I just feel like this is just a part of my calling, to give something back by sharing with our young people some of the things that I've learned in life.
Reporting for Our Sports, I'm Joshua Williams.
This past year, Rash Jesse Delancey emerged as one of the top players in Division II volleyball. Get to know this rising junior phenom. Rash Jesse Delancey emerged as a powerhouse in Division II college volleyball this past year. The outside hitter and middle blocker for Benedict College nabbed himself D2 Player of the Year honors, averaging 5.38 kills per game, with 7 matches with more than 20 kills and 3 matches with more than 30. He was also named Conference Player of the Year 2 years in a row and was named All-American Honorable Mention in Divisions 1 and 2 this past year. Heading into his junior year with Benedict, there's no doubt that he will dominate the competition once again. That'll do it for sports today. I'm Tage Adderley. Have a wonderful evening.
Summer heat expected to rise over the next few weeks as a global heat wave brings scorching temperatures. Greg is back in the Weather Center with your extended forecast when our news returns. Stay with us.
Welcome back to our news. The global heat wave that's sending temperatures through the roof is certainly impacting conditions here at home, and scorching high temperatures are expected to continue into the summer. Well, meteorologist Greg Thompson is back in the Weather Center with your extended look at weather. Greg?
Yeah, thanks again, Natalia, and welcome back, everybody, for our final check-out weather. High pressure dominating at the surface across most of the islands, the central and southeast Bahamas, the exception being the northwest Bahamas. We have an upper-level disturbance that's generating some showers and some thunderstorms. That combining with the available moisture, that will continue to be the trend throughout the night and into tomorrow. So we're looking for some more showers across the Grand Bahama, the Abacos, as well as the Bimini area, possibly even making it down here near the capital. But that pattern will slowly slide out towards the east as that high-pressure system continues to build in towards our area, and that Saharan dust begins to invade us. So we're looking at some very warm temperatures over the next couple of days. In the tropics, we still have subtropical depression Dawn. It's still out there, but it's going to continue to weaken rather rapidly, slowly sliding towards the south over the next couple of days, and by the middle of the week, we expect it to make a turn back towards the north and eventually moving out into the cooler waters of the northern Atlantic. The system is expected to become a remnant low by the end of the week. Taking a look at our future forecast map, a lot of that shower activity across the northwest Bahamas, as I mentioned, associated with that upper level trough. Some of that pulling out towards the east, but we still have some moisture hanging out across our area through tomorrow. And then on Wednesday, more showers, extreme northwest Bahamas, as that pattern remains in place. Boating forecast for the northwest Bahamas tonight to tomorrow. Your winds will be out of the southeast to south at 10 to 15 knots, seas running 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. Your high tide is at 8:45 this evening. But the central and southeast Bahamas, a caution flag in place for you guys down there. East to southeasterly wind flow, 15 to 20 knots. They will be gusting higher at times, and your seas will be running a very choppy 4 to 7 feet over open waters. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In your extended forecast, we'll keep some showers in the forecast tomorrow as that disturbance in mid and upper level across our northern Bahamas continues to generate some thunderstorms activity. But by the remainder of the week, things rather clearing out as that Sahara dust moves across us. Temperatures will stay near the 90-degree mark with the feels-like temperatures in the triple digits over the next couple of days. So do exercise caution if you plan on doing anything on the outdoors. That's your look at our weather. Have a great evening, everybody.
All right, thanks, Greg. And the heat wave that's expected to continue this summer makes for good fun in the sun. But if you're planning to hit the beach to beat the heat, remember our Jamila Music has all the tips you need to keep you and your family safe. You can head on over to ournews.bs to find that and all of today's top stories. And with that, we thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Natalia Hall. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great evening.